Chiwetel, your character, Dr. Vincent Kapoor, is NASA's director of Mars. What responsibilities does he hold in the whole Watney situation?
So once it's discovered that Mark Watney is alive, then the most important things are to communicate with him, to try and open up a path of communication, and then obviously to try and keep him alive, and then to start to investigate possibilities of bringing him home. So Vincent Kapoor, as head of the Mars missions, is therefore responsible with the head of NASA, played by Jeff Daniels, for all of those things, and so they build up a team, including Mackenzie and Mindy Park, and try and accomplish those things simply.
And Mackenzie, no one at NASA would even be aware of Watney's survival if not for your character. What is it about Mindy that leads her to discover that Mark is in fact alive?
She's really just following orders. She's contacted by Vincent Kapoor to look up these very specific satellite coordinates and discovers that the body that was there has moved and the rover has moved and that there's life where there was none. So yeah, she sort of gets thrust into a bigger world than she was in before.
And Chiwetel, I understand that you spoke to several people at NASA and JPL prior to filming. What did you learn from them about your role and the space community in general?
Well, what I was really trying to investigate is, I suppose, how to, because everybody knows that these guys are really smart, and also, I suppose, that they exist in a highly stressed situation, and I suppose the distinction between NASA and JPL is that NASA is, very much involved with an astronaut program, like the European Space Agency also, that, so the stress, the stress of the kind of involvement of human life in all of this is like a major part of it, and how they deal with that in the practical ways that they deal with it, just simply of having two eyes watching everything that everybody else does, just to make sure that there's no silly errors that go into, any programs or into the building of any equipment. But then also there's the sort of emotional intelligence of it, and the knowledge that things go wrong, and the ideas of problem solving and dealing with that, and being calm and forthright as well, and sticking by your guns, and having certain principles, I think it's a fascinating community, so I think that's why they actually make for very interesting characters. They're very sort of dynamic and smart, and morally and ethically interesting community.
And Mackenzie, how does Mindy's discovery change her position at NASA?
Well, as soon as she discovers that Mark Watney is alive, she's part of a mission to bring him home, which normally she'd just be an underling that wouldn't receive any attention. And she's working with the top brass at NASA. So I think just working alongside Vincent, who she would have had no contact with before, and suddenly he's loitering around her desk and giving her direct commands, changes her entire career trajectory. And she's very emotionally invested in it. She was the first person to discover that he was still alive, so it's a pretty emotional journey for her.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you, thanks.